Today we're going to talk about AI, how to use AI so you can market. Market's all about building confidence in your prospect's mind about you, in your solution being able to solve their problem. And then sales is about conversion. It's about converting prospects into meetings, qualified meetings, and converting qualified meetings into clients. Three important things to consider when using AI or sales and marketing in general. Leverage, positioning, conversion. When you position yourself as the go-to for helping people solve the problem, they will go to you. Content, if it speaks to your prospects' need and want in such a way that it's like, oh, I think they understand my problem and they can solve it. That's leverage. Then it drives people to your profile. That's positioning. If it's set up correctly, then it will lead to conversion if you have a proven process in place. So I'm in a Zoom meeting with a CEO, a prospective client. This is my initial meeting with this client. In the meeting, I have Otter.ai on, and it's important because we all get distracted. They did a study and they said people's attention span is less than that of a goldfish. They determined that a goldfish's attention span was 9 seconds. Now, not sure how exactly they determined a goldfish's attention span is 9 seconds, but they did. The point is, we all get distracted, and these AI tools can ensure that we have the information so that we understand the meeting that we just had with our prospect, our client. This prevents us from missing very key, very important information. I have Poised running in the background. Poise is my 27 or 24/7 speaker coach. I have a habit of talking really fast. And if I'm talking with a client that has a slower cadence, I'm going to break rapport. We connect with people at the subconscious level when we match and mirror how they communicate, not only in our tone, but in our speech patterns and in the speed. So Poise will give me flashes across the screen. You're speaking at 298 words a minute. Slow down. You're speaking too much and not asking enough questions. You're using too many filler words. This is giving me this live, okay, as I'm talking with the CEO. I was talking kind of fast. It gave me an alarm. I'm like, oh man, okay. So I slowed down and matched and mirror his communication. Very important. Influence. And if you want to increase sales, influence is the key. Influence comes from how we communicate. It's 7% words. So our influence comes 7% by the words that we use, 38% by the tone of the words that we use, and 55% by our body language. So when you incorporate all those together and you have the right body language with the right tone and you're matching and mirroring your prospect and your client's speech patterns, you'll connect with them on a deeper level at the subconscious level. The subconscious level, the emotional level is where people make decisions, right? So I have Otter.ai in the background recording the information. I have my 24/7 speaker coach, which is giving me cues throughout the conversation. And the CEO in this conversation lays out 4 priorities. He's looking for me to be a mentor for his organizations, for his salespeople, including his sales manager. And he said, Chaz, these are the 4 priorities I have. And I'm taking some notes too, but I have Otter.ai in the background. All right. And so he lists the 4 priorities. It was a good conversation, but it could have been better. Any of you had a conversation with someone and just think, man, that was good, but something was missing? This is important, and this is where AI really helped me. This was the initial conversation. We end the conversation. I take the information from Otter.ai and I put it into Claude 2. Claude 2, ChatGPT, they're very similar. I copy and paste the transcript from the meeting into Claude 2. And I said, this is the transcript from a meeting I just had with a prospect. I'm hoping to have them be my client. I want you to recap the meeting with his 4 priorities and make sure to use his words, not to use a synonym of the words he's using. Very important to use his words when you're going to give me a summary of the meeting for his 4 priorities. Because I want to send a video to recap the meeting, and I want to speak to him at the subconscious level because I'm going to use his words. Now, let me take a break from this. I'm being redundant here on purpose because this is so important. It's very important to recap meetings. If you're not doing it, you should be recapping the meeting. When you recap a meeting, you need to recap it in their words. When you speak to people with their words, you get their attention and you keep their attention. As I look at the summary of the 4 priorities, I'm like, oh man, he mentioned this a couple times and I missed it. This is something that's really important. So what do? I look at the summary and I put together in my mind kind of an outline of a video recap I'm going to send him. Now remember, leverage, positioning, conversion. Those 3 things is all you need to grow sales. So I'm in the conversation with this CEO. How can I leverage this conversation? Well, I'm going to leverage this conversation by talking with him with a recap, with a personal video message, talking about his 4 priorities. And I'm going to talk about best practices so that he can reach these 4 priorities and he can reach these objectives and he can get to the goal that he was talking about. So I pull up Vaetas, okay? Vaetas Video, it's a SaaS video product. I recap the meeting and I talk about his 4 priorities in his words and I give best practices. So I went through each point, I used his language, I gave best practices. So not only am I leveraging the conversation because I'm building a relationship, I'm positioning myself as the authority as I'm responding to his 4 priorities with best practices. So 3 minutes, Otter.ai I used the Poise, I used Claude, and then I send a video recap with Vaetas, okay? Why do I use Vaetas? There's Dubb, D-U-B-B out there, .com. Why do I use a video SaaS product to follow up and recap? Because I can see when they watch it, I can see how much of the video they've watched. Now, in this case, I sent the email with the video recap to Alec. He watched 100% of the video. Within 10 minutes of him watching the video in full, again, I saw that he watched it. He watched 100% of the video. He sent me an email and we had a clear next step, but this whole process accelerated the entire process for all of us. He said, Chaz, that was a great recap of the meeting. Those points were dead on and I appreciate your feedback on best practices. He goes, I'm going to send an email and copy you in to Eric, the sales manager, so I can get you together and we can go ahead and get started. Right there, because of those AI tools, I was able to get a client.